You know, I just feel like we're really in competition with, you know, these fat, low-end samples that, like every time you turn the radio on, you get this fat blast of keyboard bass, you know, and it's quite tricky, you know. We've got to find a way to have the, you know, I mean, obviously there's a human feel that you get playing the instrument, but at the same time, you know, the audience out there is used to that big sound. So we've been experimenting, you know, with Nick. Nick and I work together. He'll get a synth up, you know, we'll work bass, synth together, and the engineer will do things. We're doing a lot of detuning. So, you know, hopefully the album, you know, will have that real signature sound, but it'll have the sort of lower, you know, kind of EQ, you know. But yeah, it's a bit of science, you know.
Yeah, hell yeah. Was there never any chance of a signature aria, ever?
Just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So tell us about the Peavey then. Wonderful thing.
Yeah, well, you know, I liken Peaveys to BMWs. You know, I've been using them certainly since the band came back. So I suppose that's about 9 years now. And I was, you know, I was living in America, and I was feeling the American instruments. I'm not sure. I think maybe they cheated. I think it was through Dave Mustaine. I think he was doing.
Oh, Megadeth, by the way.
Yeah, who was doing. He was working with you. And
you mean David Ellefson?
Dave Ellefson, sorry.
Yeah, the bass player.
Yeah, and you know, we started talking, and he sent me, and I think maybe it was the Cheetah that he sent me, this Cheetah 4-string, and it just never went wrong. Yeah. You know, and I think that you know, once I get into touring mode, there's so many things that can go wrong. Like the idea of having an instrument that I can play for 2 hours that really isn't going to slip, that is just going to do what it says on the box. You know, and I've found Peavey to be very, very reliable in that way. And the sound, the sort of, I mean, the sort of romantic in me, you know, likes the idea of playing sort of 60s or 70s Gibson basses with Ampeg heads, but there really isn't that room. There really isn't the room in the Duran Duran sound for that kind of a bass sound. I have to keep it very narrow, very tight, very compressed. So actually, the whole sort of old school sound doesn't work. Right. I've tried a couple of times to do that, and I have to come back to this, which just, you know, which just does it. And I tend to stick to the same, pretty much the same bass. Again, it's just a different story to guitar players. Guitar players can play a 20-song set and use 20 different guitars. You know, it's never been the case with me. I just like to keep it simple.
Would you mind running us through some of the tones on the Peavey?
That's almost a muso question, John.
Yeah, it doesn't get geekier than that.
I think I know what he's talking about. This has a lot of tones on it, not that I ever use them or anything. We've got a volume. Always useful. Going down. Craig, is that you? Craig Duffy was swearing he was going to have our seats going up and down throughout the... Now mine's going down. Now I'm shorter than you. That's right. You mean I'm failing horribly. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's a great sound.
Yeah, okay. All right, we all know that at the height of Duran Duran's, I don't know, Duran Duran mania, I suppose we would call it. Chaps, can we have some backstage help? There we go. We have the technology. Anyway, at the height of
height? Somebody say height?
I would never sing that one.
But I might.
I'm going to get John to read another part of the book, all right? And this time he's talking about just what it was really like, what it felt like at the absolute